So today we're gonna add sprinting to the game so we can move a little bit faster, and add so when you carry something it will slow down as well. So first things first, in the BP main player, find a free spot, and right here we're just gonna have a custom event called start sprinting, and we're gonna get the stats component, right, and get current weight, and we're just gonna basically check if it's greater than or equal to 50, basically the lowest value where you want it to start, if that makes sense. So for example, if I set this to 50, at 50, basically when it reaches 50, right, it will start slowing down basically, and we will not be able to sprint. So if you wanted to have like 10, you can do it 10, and when you're carrying something you cannot basically sprint. Hopefully that makes sense. Next up, we're gonna have another branch. This should be false. So from false to diagonal. And this will be get velocity. So basically this will be, so we're gonna check if the player is moving or not. So get velocity vectors length. And if it's less than or equal to 0, so if it's not boolean, just like that, plug that in. So if we are not moving, I guess. So if we are moving, sorry, if we are moving, so it's true. We're gonna have another branch, promote this condition into a variable. I think I already have it. Yep, is sprinting. So promote it to is sprinting, and do not boolean, and plug that in. Now we're gonna have from true, we're gonna have a sequence, because we're gonna do two things at the same time. First, we're gonna do the sprinting timeline. So do a timeline. This is not obligated, but you can do it. And this is sprinting timeline. So it's basically gonna linearly go up gradually, I guess. And it should plug into play from start. Now we're gonna create another custom event. This will be stop sprinting. And right here we are going to add, we're gonna set the is sprinting to false, add the sequence, and the first one will go into right here reverse. So just gonna plug this right here. Now after the timeline, we're gonna update the speed. So to do that, we're gonna double click on the timeline, add the track of float, and this will be, I call everything basically an animation, and add a key, right click, add a key. This will be 0 times 0 value 0. Another keyframe, this will be 1, and this will be 1. Now this is quite up to you, how fast you want it to go. If you want it to go really fast, you can just plug the time at, the value should stay 1, by the way. You can plug the time at 0.2 or 0.5. I'm gonna plug it at 0.3. I think that's the best one so far. And the length right here is 0.3 as well. So it should be the same as the time. Now what you can do, right click on the bottom one and do auto on the top one, auto as well. So now that's done. Now we have another, basically a node. We're gonna lerp it. So we're gonna lerp, and it should go into the alpha. So basically that means lerping is basically it's gonna go from A to B. So if you set A at 0 and B at 100, it's gonna go from A to 100, from 0 to 100 in 0.3 seconds, if that makes sense. So that means create two values, default speed and sprint speed. The default speed will be the A, sprint speed will be the B. Default speed, I have 200. You can go into a character movement and check your max walk speed. And the sprint speed, I just double it, so it's doubled. It's quite up to you. And now we just need to actually set it. To do that, we're just gonna create a function called f set speed. And right here we're just gonna have character movement set max walk speed. Before we do it, we're gonna actually set default speed as well, just like that. So we're gonna plug this into the max walk speed and plug the default speed into this input, just like that. Basically, why we are doing this, because we will need to set the weight, and this is, I found the best way to do it. So it's basically gonna set the default speed and the max speed, because they are basically the same thing. So now let's get the set speed from update, plug that in, that goes into return value, and that's about it. The finish will be sprinting to false. Okay, so that's sprinting done. We can create an input, so you can go to inputs, all the habits, so just create sprinting, go into your input mapping, and just add a new mapping right here. Sprinting, I have left shift, it's quite up to you what you use. And now in the input you can do sprinting, just like that, and do from start sprinting, it will be start sprinting, complete, stop sprinting. Now one more thing that we have to do is go and find your movement right here, your default movement. That should be enchant input action, and from cancelled do stop sprinting, and from complete the same thing. So just plug it in, it should look like this. So basically if you cancel it, the movement, it will just stop automatically. So now if we test it out, you can see I'm walking, I press shift. It's really hard to tell actually, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a print string and plug this print string into the return value. So you can see now I'm walking for 100. Okay, so basically the f set speed, I lied again. Don't do this, just do it, basically just delete it and plug the max walk speed in. Just do it like that. That should fix the problem. Yep, that should fix this problem. So you can see now we're walking slowly. I press shift and we are walking a little bit faster. I guess the difference is really minimal, but it works. So now we can close that up. Now we can start with the FOV change. This is quite optional, you don't have to do it, but it will change FOV, it will look better. It will show that you're actually sprinting. Once again, we're gonna have a timeline. This will be FOV timeline, and once again it's gonna go from start, play from start. It's gonna have a track, a float. The length will be 0.25. I found that to be perfect for me. We're gonna add a keyframe. That's gonna be once again 0, 0. Another keyframe. This time it's gonna be somewhere 0.14 and 0.07. Another keyframe, and this one will be 1 and 1. No, sorry, it will not be 1 and 1. It's gonna be 0.25 and 1. So it looks something like this. Now for each one, just put auto in it, and you can see this one kind of goes under it. Just make it so it doesn't. And we added the third one because I wanted to go a little bit faster up, if that makes sense. It's quite optional how you make this. You can actually just delete it and make it like this. It's quite up to you. Now from the reverse, right, it's gonna be this sequence where we stop sprinting, so it's gonna reverse it. and we forgot to rename the track, so name it animation. I don't know why I do it, but now the easiest part is, once again, we're gonna lerp it. It's gonna go into alpha, and now it's gonna go from 90 to 97. I would say 95 is good as well, but 97 I think is the sweet spot, or 96 actually. And now get the camera component, set field of view, plug into update, and plug the return value. So basically what we are doing with the timeline, every time it goes through the timeline, it's gonna update this field of view, so it's gonna gradually go from 90 to 97. So now if we play, it should have the effect of it. You can see it kind of goes a little bit back when you're sprinting. If you add camera shake to it, it will look even better. But you can see it just gives you the vibe that we are actually sprinting, and I think 97 was the right choice. So yeah, just don't overkill it. Okay, so that's basically done. The last thing that we have to do is comment this out actually. So this is sprinting with FOV change. Yeah, it basically says that. So right here we're just checking if the weight is greater than 50. If it is, we cannot sprint. If it isn't, okay. If we are moving, are we moving? Yes, we are. Alright, is this sprinting? Can we sprint? Yes, yes, yes. And then we're just doing the timeline, and it's just gradually going up. Of course, you don't have to do this. This timeline is quite optional. You can just set it right away. But I just like it like that. Okay. Now about the weight, we are gonna we are gonna go into our stats system. Right where we increase our weight, we created this thing image here, right? We're just gonna move the last branch with all the return nodes a little bit up, just a little bit, right? So we have a little bit of room to play. So now from false, you're gonna have a branch. You can have as many branches as you want. I'm gonna have 2 because I think 2 is okay. From the branch, if it's greater than or equal to, so if the current weight, so get the current weight. Let's make this a little bit prettier. 50, it's going to basically decrease. So we're gonna get the main player, set default speed. This is the only way I found to work, because with sprinting it kind of ignores something. I don't know why. So this is one of the ways to do it, and we're just gonna set it to 150. It's quite up to you how you set it. The default speed is 200 walking speed, so I'm just gonna, just a little bit. Now this will go into this branch, but before we actually never mind. So now from the player we're gonna set F speed, so you have to set both of them and plug the return into here. I think that should work, hopefully, and plug that into the next branch. Now for this branch, the false will go into the next branch. So if it's true, it's just gonna go and take these and set them. Now for the next branch, this condition will be if it's greater than or equal to. Once again, we're gonna get the current weight, and this is quite up to you how you want it. I'm gonna have 90. You can set it to 80, 70. I'm gonna have 90, so if it's 90, once again just copy both of these from true and the false will go right into the branch, and this will be 50, so it's gonna move really slowly. And that's about it. Now in the decrease weight, right here, just move the last branch, and we're gonna do the same thing, literally the same thing, except this will be if it's less than or equal to the current, and this will be 90. And if it's true, once again, get the player, set default speed, and this time it's gonna be 50, sorry, it's gonna be 50. And right here, set speed, and just plug in the, get the node, plug that in. Let's have another branch. Once again, if it's less than or equal to, this time it's going to be 50. Copy both of them. If it's true, it's going to set to 150. And I just realized I forgot one thing to add. It should be 200. Sorry, it should be 200, not 150. So I just forgot to do one more thing. We have to add another branch, so and this branch will be if it's less than, if the current weight is less than 50, so it's below 50. If it's true, we're just gonna set these two to 200. The false go into right in the branch. The branch is kind of useless. So yeah, it should be 200. So the default speed, the main default speed, should 200. Don't forget to connect all the pins, so it should look like this. Okay. So now if we test it out, for example, carry this one, you can see we are a little bit slow. We cannot sprint. If I pick this up, now I'm super slow. Cannot sprint, only jump. Of course, you can delete the jump function. If I drop this, now I'm, I guess, a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little bit faster. It's really hard to tell what speed I am on actually. So I added the print string right here on F speed to just indicate me what speed I am on. Now I'm on 150. Get this one. Now I'm on 50, 150. Drop this one. Now I'm 200. It doesn't feel like it because the speeds are really tiny. So get this one, it's 150. You can tell, you cannot sprint, and this is 50. Next up, we're just gonna probably bug fix some stuff, because there's a lot of bugs that is in the game. So yeah.